Alright, so we'll get started here. This is just going to be kind of a demonstration of the route that I have for this game for the first three worlds. A couple of the solutions may not necessarily be optimal, so there's some room for playing around with that. But we'll get started and kind of go through the basics. So the goal for the next one is just the first three worlds. Luckily they're rather simple and straightforward. For each of the levels, you either push or drop blocks of ice on the flame to put them out. When all the flames are out, you move on to the next area. You just kind of mash A in between to move on to the next one. These first few levels in particular are just super straightforward. And there is no randomness at all in this game. So once you have figured out the solutions that you want to use, it'll be the same every time. You can buffer some of the inputs, like if you're jumping up, you can buffer an A button to create or delete a block of ice, which can be useful at times. But it's fairly simple. It's a one-button game. All the jumping up on the blocks is automatic just by pushing into it. You just kind of use the A button to create and delete ice. This level is a little bit finicky sometimes, with just getting your inputs to actually register. A couple of the levels are like that, and I'm not really certain why. Most of them are completely fine. But this one I'm kind of careful, because if you drop an input in the wrong place, you have to restart. At any point you can press start, that'll bring up a menu and that'll allow you to restart the level if you need to. A couple of different ways that I've done this level, and they work out to be pretty much the same amount of time. This is the one I prefer to go with because of the combo finish. And then on the 10th level of each area is a castle. You get this little cutscene that plays out before you can select the level. You mash afterwards, and then you can skip the cutscene just by mashing start. You should actually drop the right ice block before the left there. Just a very small optimization that I missed. And then there's a cutscene on the other side also. There I killed the first one early, just to smooth out dropping that last block. That way I could drop down along with it and not have to create extra ice after I went back. Here I've tried a couple of things that work out to be more or less the same. You can either kick an ice block over or create this full bridge, and both are pretty much the same amount of time. Because you have to jump down and then jump back up and create and delete blocks and all that kind of stuff. Although equal in game time is not necessarily equal in real time because of when the clock stops. Like when the block is in motion, basically, the clock is stopped. That also means that enemy movements are stopped in the cases where there are moving enemies, which are very few stages. Only one in the race goal. Again, fairly simple levels. Most of these are just, you want to reduce the number of times that you're having to turn, because the turning animation takes a little bit of time, which I sometimes do successfully and sometimes don't. As I drop down early. Delete this block behind you, because that'll save you some movements later. I think you just delete this block and kick it over. I create that block of ice to the right just to save me a very small amount of time. But it is an amount of time that does exist. See if I can remember how to do this right. It's slightly faster to delete that block and then jump down than to go to the right and then back. This has probably my least elegant solution. I do have to spend a little bit of time waiting. But I haven't found a better way to do that. It doesn't mean there isn't one, but that's the best one that I've found. In total for the game, there are 10 worlds. The race goal for this is just the first 3, so it's just 30 levels. Oh, a little bit of lag there. That's from my PC, not from the game. You could do one more to the right before kicking that block. It ends up not making much of a difference except for reducing the number of crouch animations. Because there's a little bit of time loss for things like crouching and jumping. I just screwed that up. Caught it in time. Should have made the block to the right as I jumped up, and that would have been a few seconds faster, but went with the backup. I almost always screw that level up for some reason. There's just something about it. Again, this one's pretty simple. You just need that first block, basically, and once you've got that, the rest of it plays out pretty easily. This one is rather specific. There are a couple of different iterations you can do, but the start of this level is all that's important, really. You have to put a block of ice on the right because of this block I'm dropping now, and then go down the left side. Otherwise you won't have any way to get to this flame. And you need those two blocks in the center to be connected, or you won't be able to get up. Here again, this one's just about the order that you do things. So I want to delete that block down in the center as I get past it here. Any sooner and I lose time because of jumping animations, but doing that now will drop this one down to the level, so I can just delete that block and kick it. And a similar type of thing here, where I'll create a block there because it's a little bit faster than jumping down and back up. This level looks a lot harder than it actually is. Again, it's just about getting the first couple of blocks right. And sadly, this is not a scroller. Nothing you can do to speed it up. Because you have to go up above this plane to be able to kill it, which means you have to wait for the screen to scroll 3 times. And that's it. That's the entire race goal for the best of 20 race. So, pretty cool game. That can be fairly close to 12 minutes flat if you don't make mistakes. I made a couple of little mistakes, and then my solution to 210 probably isn't optimal. But, like I said, the game is really consistent. So, anywhere between like 12 and 12:30 is pretty easy. If you have to restart because of some missed movements, not a big deal. It's normally only a couple of seconds lost because most of the levels in this are like 10 seconds or less. As you can tell, 12 minutes for 30 worlds, or 30 levels. So, that'll do that. I'll just take down the stream to make a cut for that. That way I can use this for, make a highlight of it, and that way if anybody wants to use that for learning Fire and Ice. And this is one of the 20 games for the next best of NES race, so that's kind of the purpose behind this. Anyway, thank you folks for watching. Hopefully it was useful. We will see you next time.